So I'm continuing to work on this setup. I'm controlling the light a little bit more, and I'm trying something that might or might not work. So I've got a bit more light here, and I can't do anything about this. I need this to paint with, but I'm going to try and work with it. I'm working on the white scar still. I have a little bit more to do to the reds, the final kind of bits of brightness, and then it's all about distressing, weathering, and dirtying down the model. So I thought I'd show you, see if I can make this work. So I'm going to just do one more layer of the brightest of the triad I'm using, which is the Carnage Red, and then I'm going to mix a little bit of orange in with that, and then I'm going to do some edge highlight. So I'm going to put that down. I'm going to put some of my Flow Aid water mix down, and I'm going to switch to the camera. So the camera is on the end of my brush. That may be too unwieldy to work with, but I'm going to give it a go and we'll see what happens. I'm only doing little edge highlights, so we might be alright, we don't know. And actually it might make you a little bit queasy. The difficulty is likely to be that I can't rotate my brush with this on here, but we'll give it a go, we'll see what we can manage. It might be I do this every now and again just to kind of show you my brush technique. It's not in focus. So as this is the last highlight, I'm only hitting, well, it's not second to last highlight, I'm only hitting the areas I need to be the brightest. And the trick about highlighting is that you only see the highlight if the darks are there. If the contrast isn't there, it doesn't matter how bright your paint is. Whereas if you don't have paint that's actually very bright, so you're using quite a dark, in this case a red still, but there's contrast there because the rest of it is quite dark, then you get quite good highlights and quite a good read. I know that's probably fairly obvious to you, but I figured it bears comment. I made a mistake there. I don't know if you could see that, but I just need to lift that red. Yep. I don't know if you're actually getting anything from this, but we'll give it a go. And like I say, if it has value, then we'll do it every now and again. When I'm doing a reasonably simple technique. It's actually not too unwieldy. So he's not looking too bad. Needs a little bit of a brighter highlight just to make some bits pop more, which is where the orange is going to come in. I'm just going to go into the eyes to form my tip. So I try and do an eye with this on the end of my brush. Okay. I'm going to detach the brush to wash it. I think I might make you a bit seasick if I didn't. And I'm going to mix in, I'm just going to put that down for a second. I'm just going to mix in a little orange. This orange is ancient, it's dried up, it's nasty, but it's still usable because I keep dropping little bits of Liquitex and little bits of water in there to keep it moist. Just make sure this colour is right before I go ahead with this. It's a little bright. So let's add a little moisture. Okay. Back on the brush. And let's see what we can do with this now. Oh, I've put it further back. It's not very well balanced. Oh. Excuse me, my light's on the piss. I need to tighten that screw up. Sorry about that. Okay. Let's see what we've got here. Oh, come on. Behave. Sorry. I may have to edit that. I might not. Let's have a little look here. So this last little bit, a bit of orange in, should just lift the whole thing, make it all pop. How's that? So you see, at last, a little bit of brightness. That's where all the pop comes from. And where I've lost the positioning when I took it off. 1 second. Because you can't see what I'm doing anymore. There we go. Let's have this last little bit of brightness. So for edges, you want to actually use the edge of your brush, not the tip. I'll show you that when we go back in with just the pure orange. Because I'm doing it in a slightly messier overbrushed way here to get more of that paint on. we go again with a little bit of spillage. Actually, you know what? I'm going to leave that one, because one of the things I want to do to this before I weather it is put in some markings. So that spillage there is my first marking. Rough that in for now. Obviously there will be visible brush marks in this because of the because of how thin my paint is, and I will want to come back in a couple of times over these markings and thicken them up. I may want to go in with the white as well. That's not easy to do with the camera on the back of your brush, but I want to do that. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this last bit with the weight of this camera blue tacked to my brush, but let's give it a go. Okay. Okay, so that was tough, but hopefully you can see now. So the colours are so much duller than on the model in my hand. You can see the graduation here. You can see the bright spots. So there we go. There's that. I'm going to just take some of the orange to a brighter, hotter point like that, and I'm going to hit the very, very edge in a couple of places, just for final highlights. This is the trickiest bit, because if you overcook this, it looks very cartoony. But if you want that, obviously that's a style within our painting world. I tend to want things to look a bit grittier than that. You can see with the dilute paint, I don't need to refresh the paint on my brush very often. This is a Winsor & Newton Series 7. It has a very good, what we call a belly, as in it holds quite a lot of paint if the paint is dilute. It just helps you to kind of keep control. Okay, so I'm going to stop there. That red's looking quite nice now to me, in my hand, not so much on the camera. So there'll be one more video with some weathering, and then I'm going to take some high-res pictures for the website, and I'll check that everything's alright, that I'm happy with it, give it a few days, and meanwhile I'll start building his friends. Whether I ever blue tack a camera to my brush again, I don't know, but I thought it was worth a try. Okay, everybody. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.